I love those ESPN stats that are like LeBron James is the best player on Wednesdays ever. It's like, who fucking cares?
It's like Connor wrote it, for Christ's sake.
Okay, all right.
Cause we way too high for you. Tripping like we got too much on. Don't think I love it for us. Cause we staying all night long. Yo, when we walk in the club, you better believe we know what's up. Got these girls a little trance. Throwing bands and then the dance.
3, 2, 1. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another rendition of the Bros and the Berg podcast. I don't know what Big Daddy Berg is laughing at over there, but
I hope that countdown makes it in the podcast. It better.
No, Connor wouldn't do me dirty like that.
Never.
I think you would.
Well, anyways, we thank you for joining us for another whatever video recording Spotify this is going to be. I've actually absolutely butchered the opening to this. If you still stuck around through all that, please like and subscribe. I mean, that's really all I got for you. We got another hour 15 podcast coming at you hot. Got college football, I don't know, NBA, NFL is right around the corner, Women's World Cup, shit in the bed, you know, everything that you want to hear, it's on this podcast with a great draft at the end.
And this podcast is going to officially be the funeral of the Pac-12 conference. It's dead. It's done. It's over. Everyone pay your respects to one of the, the original Power 5 conferences in college football. We're going to see a lot of changing in what conferences are the strongest. But the Pac-12 is dead, guys. It's done. It's over.
And we're going to have an actual 5-second moment of silence starting now. Thank you for joining in. So the Pac-12 after dark memes are no more. I'm really upset about that.
That's true, yeah.
Actually was probably my favorite part of the Pac-12. Which is
the fact that I can't be drunk on a Saturday night, come home, and stay up till 1 a.m. watching Washington State and Oregon State play in a shootout that doesn't matter is probably the worst news that I've heard in a really long time. Actually, like legitimately one of the most upsetting things I've ever heard. And I really am sad about that.
No, because that actually just struck a chord with me. There are multiple times we've come home from the bar at 1:30 a.m. Central Time, and there's just an absolutely brutal, like 10-7 slugfest going on out.
But it's gonna be like 10-7 with like 5 minutes left, and then the game somehow ends like 31-27. You're like, what the fuck just happened? Yeah. Like it just doesn't make any sense. So that's sad. I'm gonna miss some of the matchups. Obviously, they already lost USC and UCLA, two of the staples of the conference. And you knew Washington and Oregon had been looking to jump ship for a while, and as soon as that happened, done. Conference over.
You got to feel bad for the Beavers,
and the Cougs.
State. Those are some loyal fan base. I mean, you got the Washington State flag that makes the trip to every home game, to every game day. They're just leaving them out in the fucking cold.
I would love to see Oregon State win the Pac-12 this year. They have DJU. I think they're one of those like sleeper teams people are talking about. For them to go out and win the conference this year is the biggest fuck you to everyone leaving would be awesome. And now we're all Oregon State fans. Agreed?
They're an OSU. They're OSU and they're orange. I have bad eyes, so I don't really discern.
Yeah, we're in.
So for those of you that don't know what they're talking about, I apologize for the past 5 minutes. But after the announcement of Colorado leaving the Pac-12, the other schools of the Four Corners have decided to join that effort to go to the Big 12, being Utah, Arizona, and Arizona State will join Colorado in 2024 as a part of the Big 12, leaving only 4 teams in the Pac-12 between Cal, Stanford, Washington State, and Oregon State. Reportedly, also, ACC leaders are set to begin exploratory discussions to the potential additions of Cal and Stanford to the conference. And I just saw something else that's another update. Apparently, SMU is also a leading favorite in being a part of the ACC expansion. Kind of a weird. I don't think I would have expected Cal and Stanford go to the ACC of all the conferences.
No, and I feel like it makes more sense for them to merge with the Mountain West. But I don't think Cal or Stanford would ever do it. But geographically, that's what makes sense.
The question to do that.
For sure. But the question is, too, obviously, Cal and Stanford, basketball, football, especially recently, hasn't been great, but they're known for their Olympic sports, and they're both really solid in some of those non-revenue generating sports. And the question is, where do they play those? Because a lot of the conferences don't have all of those sports.
Right.
So I think that'll be the big question for them moving forward is what they do.
But it's also a case of like the same reason that Vanderbilt is in the SEC. I mean, Cal and Stanford's like their academics and the well, I mean, you know what I mean. But like the Cal and Stanford's academics like pull them up drastically because they're such high institutions.
I mean, Cal and Stanford would be a great like culture fit for the ACC. When you think about schools like Duke, Wake, Virginia, like really well regarded academic institutions that play in the ACC, I think that makes sense from that standpoint. But I mean, you're going to make them fly across the country for every single game.
It's what every other conference is doing now.
I guess.
All right. So with all this happening in 2024, right? So you'll have all these new matchups. This year we'll have a ton of bad blood. I'm expecting like an all-time high in fights and rivalry games. It's going to get nasty. I'm here for it. But I was talking with my dad the other day, talking about some of these new matchups that are going to come in, interconference matchups. And I think my favorite one is coming out of the Big 12. You want to know who those two teams are that might play, depending on scheduling, but they'll eventually play in the Big 12 together. You know what that matchup
Arizona
is?
State and Texas Tech.
That one is great for a completely different reason.
That's a really good one.
I need to go to that one. I'm putting that on my calendar.
Yeah.
Mine was BYU West Virginia.
The Mormons rolling into fucking Morgantown.
What the fuck is going on out here? They're not going to know what to do with. The Nears are going to try to go to a football game and be like, where's the fucking booze?
Oh, God, no. West Virginia BYU is going to have so few West Virginia fans, it's not even going to be funny. Either that, or there's going to be a plane crash because so many of them snuck beer into their suitcases. And like, there's going to be too much weight that the plane actually crashes coming into Salt Lake City, and they can't even get to the game. Like, those are the two options.
They're going to agree on politics, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, it's a very good point.
That's about it.
BYU and Utah getting reunited though, so there's that I guess quote unquote rivalry. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, it's a rivalry for sure.
For sure.
I'm trying to think like what Pac-12 matchup I'm gonna miss the most. Love a good USC or I guess they're gonna still be together. So actually, I'm not missing that one.
Yeah.
Oregon State, Oregon, Civil War always gets a little crazy. Corvallis is a scary place to play, no matter when it is.
Yeah.
That's gonna be sad because I'm guessing they won't continue that. The Apple Cup, even though it's been pretty one-sided between Washington and Washington State, no, we're just losing some good rivalries, man, and it's sad.
So adding to this, gentlemen, because I had kind of forgotten about this until this past week, and when I went back and started researching some of this stuff. So people forget that last year the CFP restructured how the playoff is going to be in 2024. So when all these teams are going to the Big 12, and a lot of it obviously was involved with the conference champions, Pac-12 being included as like it's 12 teams, and the conference champions kind of get an automatic bid. What they now have to completely redo that structure. Yes. They now have to completely redo that structure in 2024. So I mean, obviously the CFP might look a lot different when they revitalize it again this year.
Can we talk about when are we going to change fucking conference names? Like, I'm not like the Big Ten being the Big Ten with 12 teams was okay. 16 is not okay. Like you gotta do something.
I saw a tweet the other day. It was like if somebody else names a conference after the amount of members they have, they're the biggest idiots that ever walked the face of the earth.
I mean, I don't know what you call the Big Ten. You can't really name it geographically.
Right. It's also not the Southeastern Conference, really. I mean, you got A&M. I mean, that's closer than obviously like the Big 12.
Mizzou.
The Big 10,
I'd say Mizzou is the only one that probably isn't Southeastern.
Right. But that's not super accurate. ACC when Stanford joined, sick the Atlantic.
I mean, you already have Louisville in there. They're not touching a damn ocean for hundreds of miles.
My dad's favorite labeling, which I actually really like this too, of the Big 12 is the Hateful Eight and the Grateful Eight.
Yeah, that's great. I like that.
I know, exactly. So there's the new Big 12 name.
So are these like 16 team conferences? Are they going to go to 2 conferences of 8? Are they going to do like 4x4? Like,
you're going to have to do it in like a pod system.
The Big 12 is doing a pod system.
Yeah.
So what makes sense for the Big 12?
Nothing. The one team is going to have to be hung out to dry. Like, that's just how it's going to be.
I mean, if you're going to group them geographically, you have the 4 West Coast teams, and the next furthest west team is Nebraska.
I was talking about Big 12, but yeah, sure.
Oh, sorry. See, the fucking numbers, Mason. I can't keep them straight.
It's like far west, you got the Utahs and Arizona, right? That just makes sense. Just stick them out there, right? And Colorado is kind of like the fuck you do with us. So it's like Colorado,
Oklahoma
The
State.
Utah's.
Colorado, Kansas State, Kansas, and Iowa State.
Maybe
yeah,
you're right.
probably.
Right
yeah.
up there.
Yep.
And then you bring Oklahoma. Oh, fuck, what do you do with Texas
it's weird
Tech?
because you have Baylor.
No, you do. You have 4 Texas
it
teams
doesn't
now,
work.
'cause you have Houston too. Yeah,
Yeah,
This is the issue. It doesn't
Oklahoma
work.
State's just like, the fuck you do with us?
Oh, stop! Don't put us in Cincinnati conference, please.
Cincinnati, UCF,
Cincinnati,
and
and Oklahoma State and West Virginia.
I'm gonna vomit. Please no.
that would be some wild games.
You might be able to do like Iowa State, Cincinnati, West Virginia, UCF, and then Oklahoma State, and with like Kansas State, Colorado.
Regardless of how this all works out, someone's pissed.
One team is
Multiple
getting
teams
left
are
out,
pissed.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, obviously, it's cool to actually West Virginia and Cincinnati being together again is cool because they used to have a little rivalry going in the old Big East. They're pretty close together, so that's a good rivalry coming back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So obviously, a lot of speculation. We will wait to hear from the conferences and what they're going to do because obviously these are kind of turning into super conferences, and obviously the CFB has to be restructured. So there's a lot in the future that we're going to be hearing from college football.
I mean, they're going to have to release some of these schedules and the conference aligned so early because
The SEC already released this for 2024.
That's
right.
nuts.
But the logistics that are going to have to come from this are like get planned months in advance.
Yep.
So like they're going to as soon as they have any idea what's going on, they're going to have to release some of this shit.
So I mean, I feel like if you're the ACC, you almost feel like you have to get to 16 teams now. So you have these 3 major 16, actually 4. You have 4 major 16 team conferences. You essentially kill the Pac-12, and then you have Big 10, Big 12, SEC, ACC.
I really thought the Big 12 was going to roll over. I don't know how this happened.
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
Yeah.
I'm saying. We're going to be moving on here to the NFL. We're going to stick with some football, but we are going over to the National Football League. Gentlemen, the official over-under win totals in terms of all the sports books and all that stuff have officially been dropped. I'm not going to read you every single one because there's a lot of teams, but I'm going to read you some of the noteworthy ones. So I'm going to read you the top 3 teams. They're all tied for the quote-unquote the highest line. These lines are 11.5. All 3 of these teams have a line of 11.5 over-under wins. The Cincinnati Bengals, the Kansas Chiefs, and the Philadelphia Eagles all have a line of 11.5 wins on the season.
The Chiefs feels like a lock, doesn't it? Like that feels low. I really think
who's gonna beat them in their like fucking division?
They're losing 6 games this year. Yeah, just no chance unless Patrick Mahomes tears an ACL. Like there's just no way.
At the bottom of the list is Ryan's proclaimed winless team this season at 4.5 wins as the line.
Hey, you heard it here first. It's free money.
Apparently it is. So one that's kind of, I'm trying to look at the biggest difference in terms of this past year. So the Cleveland Browns are one of them. Their line is 9.5, where last year they only had 7 wins. So it's a 9.5.
You get Deshaun for the full year.
Yeah, exactly. So another one that's kind of interesting, really low because they had 13 wins last year. The Minnesota Vikings line is at 8.5.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I just look at the Chiefs' schedule. They go 9-0. They don't run into anybody until they run into the Eagles, like in Week 10. They have Lions, Jags, Bears, Jets, Vikings, Broncos, Chargers, Broncos, Dolphins, Eagles.
Don't disrespect the Lions like that. Come on now.
I actually really think that for some reason the Chiefs are going to lose to the Lions week 1. Like I saw that was the schedule, and like the NFL script writers are fucking typing that shit up so fast. Like, yeah, we got this one cooked up, boys. But yeah, well, Connor, what are the Bucs at? Because I think they're another one that obviously were a better team last year, lost Tom Brady, and their quarterback competition doesn't look great. If you've seen any of the highlights of Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask,
I'm guessing 6.5, 7.5, right?
And it's the under.
6.5. Ryan was right on the money right there.
And it's the under. I think they win 4 games this year.
God, the NFC South is so ass.
Hey,
it's so bad.
The Panthers are
going to win the division. Y'all ever see that corgi that like does the thing where he like hits the ball into the buckets and like down the stairs? He had the Panthers winning the division, so lock it in. Corgi has spoken.
And then the last one I want to mention here, just because there's the biggest disparity, the Chicago Bears had 3 wins last season. Their new line is 7.5. The Justin Field hype is real.
I think they go 500. I could feasibly see that because that division is okay. Like there's no really good team in the division, right?
I mean, you expect the Vikings to kind of repeat.
The Lions are going to be pretty good. The Packers depends
Suck.
on how much you believe in Jordan Love, which I don't think any of us do. Yeah,
I think Ryan thinks the Packers are going to win like 3 games. By the way, he's been talking about them the past few weeks.
Packers are deep and distant fourth in that division.
I would agree.
There's no talent on that team right now.
It's Jair Alexander and a bunch of bumps.
Hey, what's the running back's name? Alex Jones.
Aaron Jones. Yes.
Aaron Jones. Yeah, he's kind of washed.
I forgot he's still there.
AJ Dillon. He's got some big old thighs. But other than that, I mean,
Pause.
He does. Have you never seen this?
It's like Kyle Lowry's got like a big ass. You know what I'm saying?
Anyways.
Moving on to the next headline we have.
Glad we got the sus part of the podcast out of the way early.
Huh? Anyways.
We actually, funnily enough, have had one NFL game played. I was making quotation marks there because we had a preseason game, the Hall of Fame game between the Jets and the Browns, in which the Jets lost 21-16. Not much of note here, to be honest. Zach Wilson threw 5 passes the entire game, and you know, things happen.
How many did he complete?
3 out of 5, I believe.
That's over 50%, baby. We'll take that all day.
You know who had a really bad week?
Go ahead.
My man Chris Streveler.
Who?
Do you know who Chris Streveler is? Yeah, WH Omega lol. He was the 4th string quarterback for the New York Jets. Yeah, how bad do you have to be the 4th string quarterback? He came in.
So he's behind Rodgers, Zach Wilson. Is Flacco still there?
Tim Boyle.
Where's Mike White?
He's not there anymore.
Yeah, he's down in. I thought he was down in Miami now.
That goes kind of hard.
Mike White's going to have himself a time down there. Anyways, Streveler was 1 for 7 for 9 yards and a pick against ye old Browns, and then he suffered a thumb injury when he got picked off, and so he immediately got cut.
I mean, going 1 for 9, I think would have got him cut anyways, but
yeah,
because like the 4th stringers, yeah,
it's a tough scene.
Mike White is indeed in Miami, so good call there, Ryan.
Yes.
That's
who's
I can't remember Adam Jones's name, but like I can remember Mike White went to
Aaron Jones.
You still didn't get it right.
Ryan has left the podcast. What an idiot!
I can't.
Who's on Hard Knocks this year? You guys know? Any idea?
It's the Jets.
Oh, it's the Jets. Hell yeah, I would watch the shit out of that. Can we have weekly reactions? We might have weekly reactions to Hard Knocks to see what weird shit Aaron Rodgers is up to.
I'd go kind of hard.
They're catching that man doing perks in the locker room. That's the entire goal of the.
How many times are you going to refer to Aaron Rodgers as Perk 30 Rodgers?
Listen, we don't have that many jokes, Connor. We just run with what we got.
It's hysterical.
I have a good line for you guys. I'm going to go over under 25.5 seconds of Aaron Rodgers pigs live on Hard Knocks.
Under.
Is that line just for the first episode? Because I'm
hammering whole series. Over? Okay, all right. Good to know.
I really hope it's the over. What?
Yo!
Pause.
This is a weird podcast. We're going to move on into some other NFL headlines here. The New Orleans Saints are expected to sign Kareem Hunt to add to the backfield of Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams. For those of you that forgot, Alvin Kamara is set to serve a 3-game suspension. But if Kareem Hunt does join that backfield, that's a crazy trio of Jamal Williams, Kareem Hunt, and
stay the hell away. He needs to stay away. So when Kamara comes back from suspension, he can ball out. And they also have Kendre Miller, who they drafted as well, who's looking pretty solid in camp.
Yeah, the rookie. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So moving on to the next thing here. The shout out to you, Jude. One of my buddies named Jude is a big Lions fan. Teddy Bridgewater has signed with the Detroit Lions. I think that's a great backup quarterback signing. Bridgewater's always been a good backup quarterback. So
Teddy two gloves, man. Can't hate him. You know, he gave the Panthers like 9 really average games. There. Yeah, he does.
He looks a little goofy with the two, but you know, if it works, it works, I guess.
He was doing that at the tail end of his career, hucking balls like 15 yards downfield, looking in pain every time he did it.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater was the quarterback before Baker Mayfield that I thought was going to lead the Panthers to the promised land. So I still have fond memories of the hopium from that.
Wow.
There's no shot you were actually on that bandwagon.
I mean, you know, he's coming off the bad injury in Minnesota. He's a pretty good quarterback before that. You know, maybe he rekindles the magic. I don't know. Well, at least I don't have to watch Dak Prescott trek out there every season knowing I'm going to lose in the first round of playoffs.
Come on, dude.
Hey, man. Come on. He's working on his clock management.
Did you see the pick he threw
Him and
the other
Mike
day in
McDaniels.
camp where he just like literally underthrew the receiver by 5 yards and like
Don't
the dude
worry.
was just standing there?
Don't worry, my Eagles roommate sent it to me.
Good.
He said, "This is what you're
Good.
rolling out." I said, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah. Moving into the last, actually, this isn't a headline. That's all the NFL headlines. But as the listeners of the podcast know, for the past 3 weeks, we have been ranking fantasy players depending on position. We've done quarterback, running back, wide receiver. We have now gotten to the tight end. So we will be putting together our list of who we think is going to be the top 5 fantasy football tight ends by the end of the season. Gentlemen, who would like to start out?
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I wonder who he's gonna say.
With my first pick, I'll pick Robbie Bergstone. I think he's got a really good tight end. I
Hell
think he's
yeah,
gonna
brother.
have a great season.
Actually, before we start this, I have a hot take for you guys regarding tight ends. I'm gonna fit this in right here.
All right.
Aaron Judge would have been the best tight end of all time had he played football.
He hurt his toe.
Disgusting disrespect to La Sugar Plum.
I can't refer to him as the sugar.
Some guy on YouTube did not like that comment. He really did not appreciate that.
Yeah. I don't think so.
I don't think he's fast enough, or like, I mean, he's big. Like, I just don't think he like runs well enough to play tight end.
Correct.
No,
Agreed. Maybe
I did see that hot take, so I figured I'd throw that in there. You know,
I mean the man rakes. I mean,
yeah,
he hits bombs. He's a hell of a player, but tight end, no.
So I will take this 101. Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Actually, no. There's just no way that he doesn't. There's just no way that he doesn't.
Yeah.
Ryan, you can go next.
Is George Kittle healthy, or is it Mark Andrews? I think it's going to be Kittle this year. I think Kittle turns it around a little bit. He had a down year from the injuries. Obviously, there's a ton of weapons on the 49ers offense. Maybe they actually get some consistent quarterback play this year instead of them just playing Who Goose the Moose with whoever they can roll out there.
Brock Purdy isn't going to win you a lot of games, but he's also not going to lose you a lot of games. So, yeah, they have that going for him.
Indeed,
I agree.
I'll back you on that one. I think he might be 5 and maybe 6, but I'll give it to you.
I don't think he finishes outside the top 5. There's not enough wide receiver, tight end talent that can receive the ball outside of like George Kittle and the next guy who I'm going to say, which is Mark Andrews.
That is correct. Yeah.
We knew those are going to be the 3 right now. It gets a little bit interesting.
I mean, Kittle hasn't played a full year since he's been in the league. He hasn't played 17 games.
Yeah, he's
but like
all the time.
Even if he misses 4 games, he's still top 3.
Yeah,
I was going to say it doesn't matter,
but he's also never had CMC and like Debo except for last year or the end of last year. He's never had both of them for a full season.
I think he'll be fine. I think he's talented enough.
All right. So there's a few guys that I could pick here. One that I know that Robbie really likes, so I'm not going to go to him. I could be appealing to him. I could appeal to Ryan here on one of these. I'm going to go for somebody that's a little bit of a hot take, this is a hot take. Not somebody that you would think of immediately. But I think because of the team that he's on now, I think because of the quarterback situation, I'm going to go to Dalton Schultz of the Houston Texans. Rookie quarterbacks love their tight ends. And Dalton Schultz was a touchdown machine last year on the Dallas Cowboys and got good receiving yards, good receptions. I think CJ Stroud will look for Dalton Schultz consistently throughout the season. I think
I'm going to disagree with you because that's not how CJ Stroud played in college.
Yep.
They didn't utilize tight ends at Ohio State like that.
Because they had Marvin Harrison
in college
Jr.
anymore. Yeah, exactly.
I agreed, but I don't see it. I like the pick. I can see where you're coming from. I don't think he gets there.
Damn it.
I have a feeling I know who Ryan's going to say, and it's going to hurt his soul to say it.
No, you have no idea. Oh, you have no idea.
Oh, is this someone out there?
But this is a guy that I like. No bullshit. Actually, think is going to have a great sophomore year. The rest of the offense, I think, is going to take a step forward with him. Came out of Penn State. Had a scary ACL sprain at the end of last season, but avoided surgery. I'm going to go with my man, Pat Fryermuth.
I knew it.
The
I spelled it out on the
Pittsburgh
screen.
I think that man has a lot of what it takes. He's loved by the Steelers fans. He fits super well in that offense. I think he comes back with the absolute menace on the outside that is my boy Pickens, right? That's George Pickens,
Yeah, George Pickens. Nailed it. Look at you getting a name right. Proud of you, bud.
I was like, oh my God, I'm going to say Pickens. That's the quarterback. But yeah, shout out Muth. I think he finished the top 5.
He's also a touchdown hog. Like he is just their red zone target at all times. I like
quarterback. Rookie quarterbacks, man, they rely on the time. But I'm actually also going to agree with Ryan.
All right, look at us go.
I do like Pat.
Booth.
Robbie,
it's
on to you.
I'm thinking here. There's There's two guys that I think most people would say I'm not in love with either of them.
I'm not either. I think I know who you're talking about, and I don't love
both older guys up there a little bit. I'm gonna go to a guy who's on one of the top 3 offenses in football. Has proved to be a very solid tight end threat. It's gonna be Dallas Goedert.
I looked at him. I wasn't impressed.
No,
I don't.
Did you watch his film? Did you watch his film? Yeah,
actually, instead of working today, I watched 5 hours of Dallas Goedert film. I no longer have a job.
I have to do this for my podcast, boss.
Yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot more content out of me. But no, I just think there's too much talent on the Eagles. I don't think. I mean, Jalen just isn't a big check down tight end type of guy. I just don't. And fuck the Eagles. I mean, that's just number 1.
All right, that's the reasoning right there. Anyways, Conrad, your next pick.
This is one that I am not thrilled about having to make, to be honest, because I've never been a huge advocate of this guy. But I think in the sense of where the I'm rethinking it now because I just started to think of other factors in this. I'm between 2 guys right now. All right, I'm going to do it. Okay. I think in terms of the passing game, I think that there's still a little to be desired, and I think this guy is going to get targeted like nobody's business, which will probably end up in numerous receptions and numerous touchdowns. I think I'm going to have to go to Darren Waller on the New York Giants.
The most whelming pick of all time.
I agree. I don't like it either. But top 5 tight ends, I feel like he'll probably fit in at that 4 or 5.
It's spot. Like my favorite thing is like reading something on Sleeper ESPN. It's like Darren Waller impressing in training camp. It's like wide receiver 1 is Paris Campbell.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The Giants have like just homeless dudes trying out for wide receiver.
The disrespect to Sterling Shepard.
I keep it there. Yeah.
Is Kenny Galladay still on the team? Is he still on the team? Okay, thank God. Thank God.
Talk about dead weight. It was Kenny Galladay.
I mean, just the amount of targets that Waller's going to get this. And I know Saquon's going to run the hell out of the ball, but Danny is good. Danny Dimes is a good quarterback.
We are big Danny Dimes guys on this podcast.
But he needs some receiver, and I think Waller's going to be his only option to throw to.
I think Waller just finishes outside the top 10, or outside the top 5. Not 10. 10's audacious. Outside the top 5.
Damn it.
All right.
I think you just got to go with TJ Hawkinson. He's got the man, the legend, Kirk Daddy Cousins, hucking him the rock. He finished number 2 in PPR after getting dealt to the Vikings in a midseason trade. He's obviously fit right in. He was a bit of a touchdown hog. You might see some of the touchdowns drop off this year. But I still think he has enough production, and I had the immediate chemistry with that team, and that he's going to finish in top 5 in fantasy production this year.
Because of the name. No way. We do not have enough guys to go to reject him.
I just think they added to that receiving room, and I think the Vikings are going to come back down to earth a little bit this year.
Oh, I do too.
I don't see it for Hawk. I think it's going to. I remember a couple years ago, everyone's like, Hawk's going to be the guy in Detroit. Like he's going to do all of these great things. He's going to be a top 5 tight end, and then he fucking didn't. So I have no faith in TJ Hawkinson.
No way. You just said he was not a top 5 tight end.
In Detroit, do you remember the year that he was like going like number 3?
But you said he's not a top 5 tight end. That's not an accurate statement.
I'm saying he's not living up to the hype that he was given.
All right. Be careful.
I mean,
Careful
I feel like he is close to the top of the next tier behind the big three, right?
He is top. Yeah, correct.
It was Waller when Waller
Sure,
had a couple really good seasons, but then Hawk I think has been pretty consistent.
Waller and Hawkins are the next two guys theoretically, right? Like
and
they're
you
the
just
next
said
two.
no, you head ass.
Because I don't think he's going to do it this year.
I also said no to Waller, but
I don't think he's going to do it.
All right.
Rob, who do we got?
Yeah, who do we got, Rob?
Is it going to be my fantasy football tight end?
I want to say his name just to hear you rage about him. Like I want to say the name just to hear Ryan's reaction.
But it has to be.
I'll say yes.
I will too. Say it.
I don't want to say him because I think his quarterback's gonna suck.
I do too.
Yeah.
But
what do you mean think?
We have two spots left.
No, we have one spot left.
No, we have two because we have Kelsey, Andrews, and Kittle.
And then Muth.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the guy who we've talked about. His quarterback a lot. He had a really good end of the year last year. It's a pretty good offense all around. It's a guy that was disappointing when he was first drafted, I think, to say the least. Has found a little bit of a resurgence here with his current new team being the Jacksonville Jaguars. Has had just all of the athletic talent in the world. Evan Ingram.
No.
Connor's already shaking his head.
That receiving room has too much talent. Ridley coming back. You have Kirk. That receiving room is too good. And Lawrence, people think Lawrence is going to be top 5.
That just means that just means underneath is going to be wide open, bro.
Ryan thinks Trevor Lawrence is going to be the best quarterback of all time. I just don't.
I have been meat riding Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, you have. Yeah,
big time. This is facts. Yeah.
It's too much talent in that receiving room for Ingram to be top 5. I just don't see. I think it'll be good. I think he could be like 7 or 8, but there's too much going around.
Disagree.
There's no one on this fucking list, and I'm not picking Kyle Pitts. I'm just not picking Kyle Pitts.
I'm sorry. I have to say it, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is the only one.
He's
said you would say yes.
I can't.
You have to, Ryan. You have to.
No, I don't.
I'm looking at Fantasy Pros rankings. We are through number 9 now, and we've not picked our 5th one yet.
Well, it's Ryan's pick because my offer up is Kyle Pitts because that's the only one that I have left.
I disagree just based off of principle. I have no faith in him.
It's not him. It's
what y'all think about Higbee out in Los Angeles?
I was low-key looking at Higbee.
That's a meme. We gotta go back. We gotta go back. We gotta go back.
People really like because Ertz left and because they think that the team's going to be so bad, people really like Trey McBride, the Arizona tight end, because he was okay at the end of last year, and there's nobody in Arizona.
If a tight end finishes in the top 5 and their team doesn't win a game, like that just doesn't seem feasible, Connor.
I mean, you're not incorrect.
We could go with a couple of guys coming into their.
God. I just got to peel a claw out of my neck. Oh, I'm so sorry. So bad.
We got a couple of guys who I think are coming into their sophomore seasons. I can't pronounce one of their names to save my life. I got Greg Dulcich or Okonkwo from Tennessee.
Okonkwo.
I mean, that wide receiving room is depleted. We got Bobby Trees, the ghost of Bobby Trees.
I'm not picking anyone on the Titans, so it definitely
Greg Dulcich.
No, Russ is not going to cook. He's gonna cook.
Disrespect to Cole Kmet. Just gotta say it.
People thought he was gonna be top 5 last year. I really think we gotta go back.
I was one of those people that thought Cole Kmet was gonna be top 5 last year.
For the love of God, we're 39 minutes in.
Yeah.
Can we just go back and say that it's gonna be Hawk and move on? Anybody? Hawk Waller for 5th spot. Thoughts? Hawk
Waller.
Hawk or Waller?
Waller.
Yes. Right. Woo! I get it. I get the last slot. All right.
Good for you. I'm happy for you, Connor.
Thank you so much. So we have Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, George Kittle, and Pat Freiermuth on our list of the top 5 fantasy tight ends for the end of the season. We are going to now move into MLB. We're going to be talking about some baseball. I have 1/2 headline for you guys. one headline here: Tampa Bay Rays All-Star left-hander Shane McClanahan might not pitch again this season. His Rays manager Kevin Cash said before Tuesday night's game against the St. Louis Cardinals that he will have his arm evaluated soon, but it is highly unlikely that he will pitch again this season. It is looking like it's Tommy John surgery. So obviously that sucks for Shane McClanahan. But thankfully, Tommy John is obviously not the death sentence that it used to be for pitchers. So hopefully he will recuperate. He will not play the rest of the season, but hopefully he will come back next season even stronger. Next thing, we're gonna move into the lines have officially been set for the AL and NL MVP odds. I'm going to read them to you real quick. Shohei Ohtani is currently the leading AL MVP candidates with a line of negative 20,000.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna win it. I
don't
think there's much else to say there.
Following up in the rear is Kyle Tucker at plus 6,500 of the Astros, and then third on the list is Corey Seager of the Texas Rangers with a plus 7,500.
Shout out Cabarrus County, North Carolina.
Absolutely. In the NL, the leading candidate for MVP is Ronald Acuna Jr. with a negative 1,600 odds.
Can I just share with you guys a stat about Ronald Acuna?
Please.
So one of those seasons that like is really big mark for a player to get to is to have 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases in the same year. That 40-40 season is a really big deal. It doesn't happen very often. Ronald Acuna Jr. could theoretically get to 40 home runs and 80 stolen bases. He's actually probably more likely to hit 80 stolen bases than he is 40 home runs. Like, that's just nuts.
That's a lot.
Well, it wasn't good because he actually got taken out of the game tonight getting hit by a pitch. Allegedly, x-rays came back negative, but they're still kind of monitoring the situation because he got fucking smoked.
The Braves did come back to beat the Pirates, by the way, Ryan.
Oh, there you go. Go Braves.
Following on the list of NL MVP candidates, Freddie Freeman is right behind Ronald Acuna Jr. at plus 800. And then following up in third place is Mookie Betts of the Dodgers at plus 4,500. So those are your current.
Could you imagine if Freddie Freeman was still on the Braves?
You
could put Matt Olson at DH. It'd be over. It'd be done. Yeah. They could pack up the season now.
you could put me in like just left field.
It literally wouldn't matter.
Wouldn't matter.
So in terms of the MLB headlines, that is it. We're going to throw over to our expert analyst, professor, resident, sexy man, Ryan Doyle for MLB standings.
Before we get into that, I just wanted to say that the New York Yankees manager, Aaron Boone, had an all-time great post-ejection display when he got fucking tossed for the umpire just absolutely calling bullshit balls and strikes. If you have a moment, please go watch it. It is about 2.5 minutes of just utter rage coming out of
Hell
his
yeah.
pen. It was really good to watch. He was drawing lines in the dirt and shit, like really giving it to the ump.
Bring back manager tantrums. We haven't seen a good one of those in a while. That needs to make a comeback.
Manager tantrums.
I need a guy to go and grab second base and throw it into his dugout again. That's what baseball needs.
I need Bobby Cox. That's what I need. I just need someone just absolutely losing their shit all the time.
I can do it. Hire me.
Yeah,
really that simple. I don't know how to manage a baseball game, but I'll scream at the ump.
Indeed.
All righty. Getting into what we are all waiting for is the August MLB standings of 2023. We're going to start out with the, again, best division in baseball, the American League East. Baltimore Orioles are the first team to 70 wins out there. They're 7-3 in their last 10. The Tampa Bay Rays are close behind, just 2 games back. Toronto Blue Jays are 64-51, 7 back. Red Sox and Yankees are tied in the basement, both 12 back. Red Sox are actually 2-8 in their last 10. So the Yankees have made up some ground on the Sox. But all baseball fans love seeing both those teams at the bottom of the AL East. It's really, really fun to watch. We're actually going to cover the AL Central today.
There's a couple of headlines we have to discuss in the AL Central.
The Twins are like playing some reasonable baseball. Yeah, the WHO Megal. They're 60-55. Got like a 5-game lead over the Guardians, and then there's other teams in that division.
We have to discuss the Guardians and White Sox fist fight that happened a few nights ago, and Tim Anderson got his shit rocked. That was electric.
You got to feel bad for Tim Anderson because, he just caught an absolute just wild haymaker. I mean, Ramirez throws that like 100 more times. He doesn't come anywhere close to connecting. But like he had to get helped off the field by his teammates. Like he was like stumbling and shit. It was wild to see.
But can we talk about the Tim Andersons out there talking shit as he's hit 1 home run this entire year?
Yeah, he's been terrible.
He's
been
slashing
really bad.
He's slashing 242 average, on base percentage of 285, and OPS of 575. That's not great, guys. That's really not good stuff at all.
No.
For those of you that don't know much about baseball, that's not good stuff.
Good. He's also, did you know he's from Tuscaloosa, Ryan? I did not know that, but he's apparently from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Yeah, fun fact.
That's actually kind of wild.
Not representing very well, apparently.
No, he's not.
Speaking of the division leader Twins, you got Joey Gallo, who's got more strikeouts than hits this year, has a lifetime batting average under the Mendoza line. The Rangers fans thought he was going to be the next Barry Bonds. That might be some of the worst takes out of Texas that I've ever seen.
If anyone that watched Joey Gallo last year, you're not surprised by this. This is exactly what he did last year too.
Yeah, Yankees fans are like, we fucking told you he's ass. So
Also, shout out the Royals. Royals had a little 7-game win streak.
They were cooking.
So, shout out them. They're playing better. They've distanced themselves from that other team in the AL West that we don't have to mention.
Yep.
They have
7-3 in the last 10. When you're like,
they picked up another win tonight over the Red Sox. So
yep. They are 16-42 away from Kansas City. I mean, they're just fucking abysmal.
It's tough.
Moving into the AL West, the Rangers have been playing some excellent fucking baseball, baby. Winners of their last 7, 7-0 since the trade deadline. On the other side of things, the Angels, after not dealing Ohtani or Trout, are 0-7 since the trade deadline. So that gamble did not work out for the Angels.
Shocking.
Astros are 2.5 back. Mariners are 6.5 back. Angels are 56-58, now under 500. They're 2-8 in their last 10. And the A's are actually 4-6 in the last 10. Watch out, guys!
Angels are in last place. Is what I'm hearing. Based on we only base standings on the last 10, and therefore the Angels are in last place. So shout out to A's.
Also shout out to the Athletics that have a better record away than home. Just want to throw that out there.
Have you seen where they play?
No, it's wild. It's actually wild. It's like other fans will show up wearing like A's gear when the A's are like playing away from because they want to support the A's.
Yeah.
So it's like they literally have better home field advantage.
I look-y don't think the A's have the worst stadium.
Do you think the Trop is worse?
Dude, the Blue Jays one is horrid.
The Rogers Center?
It's terrible. It's so ugly.
With your random ass just like sports style. I know we run a sports podcast, but if you held a fucking gun to my head, I would never have gotten that.
Dude, Robbie in the arena names is kind of nuts. But yes, the Rogers Center is disgusting. It's so ugly. Sorry, continue.
This is why you lost trivia, stupid.
I got rolled,
go and watch those.
Actually got rolled.
We need to do that again. Oh, I mean, if we play in this in advance, that's what we could have done on Thursday, Connor.
Click the link. It's right here.
It doesn't work on that. That's not how. Sorry, what, Robbie?
If we play in this in advance, we could have done on Thursday. Could have rolled out another trivia challenge.
This is true. Keep going, Ryan, with MLB.
Back over to the National League. We have the league leading Braves with the Orioles. Like I said, the Orioles are like a game or two back of the Braves. So the Braves have not played super well in the last 10 games. They're 71-40. Still, have a pretty good stranglehold on the NL East, so there's no issues there. Phillies have actually played some decent ball. They're 62-51, 10 back. Marlins are there. The Mets fucking suck.
The Mets are tanking? Question marks by having the highest payroll in the MLB at the beginning of the season.
I think they're another team that's like 0-7 since the trade deadline. I mean, they don't know what to do with themselves. It's actually hysterical.
It's so funny.
Then the Nationals are actually only 2 games back in the Mets, and the Nationals also have no idea what's going on, but they're 6-4 in their last 10.
The Mets are 2 games ahead of the Nationals?
Yeah, that's correct.
It's not great.
It's a bad time to be a Mets fan.
Yes.
Dude, the Mets fans were huffing copium at the beginning of the season. They really thought a World Series run was possible.
This is also coming off a year where they choked the NL East and absolutely should have won the division last year and completely folded down the stretch. and then you do this.
Dude, seeing some of the
Wall
memes
Mets.
when the Braves were coming back in that division, like after every game that the Mets would lose, the Braves would win. They're like the team like tweeting out the results. It killed me.
Well, because there's that one New York, he's just like a daily talk show host for like a local New York station. He's like, "There's no way the Mets don't win the NL East this year. It's over." This is like halfway through the season, and like Braves fans just played that on repeat all year. And then as soon as they came back, beautiful stuff, just beautiful stuff.
Lol Mets.
Lol Mets.
Moving over to the NL Central, my adopted team is fucking sucking. They have been passed by the Cubs, so the Brewers are actually in sole possession in the NL Central, followed by the Cubs at 2 games back. The Reds are 2.5 games back after going 3-7 in the last 10. The Pirates are making a late run for it. They're 6-4 in their last 10.
I just want to ask real quick. Dad and I were talking about this. Obviously, there's no, because you mentioned Cincinnati. There's no basketball team in Cincinnati. So, do Cincinnati people cheer for the Pacers or the Cavaliers?
No one gives a shit about basketball here.
You cheer for University of Cincinnati basketball.
No,
that's a fair point.
You cheer for Xavier.
Oh,
sorry.
That's
dumbass.
They care about March Madness, but like that's a
fair point. But apologies, I just was interested.
If you ever find yourself in Indiana, you want to go to Bankers Life Fieldhouse up there in Indy, I would check that out. It's a great stadium.
I won't. Last place is the Cardinals in the NL Central. Real quick, out west, Dodgers holding a 4-game lead, 65-46. Payroll's doing them some justice. Giants are 4 back of them. Diamondbacks are just at 500, 9 games back, and then the Padres and the Rockies are there playing baseball.
Good for them.
Indeed.
Yep, good for them.
Yeah, good for them.
Ryan, thank you very much for doing the MLB standings for us. We are going to move into some NBA news. We have a few NBA headlines real quick. I must have missed this one early in the season because I didn't know this was actually happening. I may be stupid, but James Harden wants the Philadelphia 76ers to trade him to the Los Angeles Clippers, and it appears all sides remain focused on getting that done. Philadelphia is expected to re-engage LA on a Harden trade later this offseason as it wants to honor the 10-time NBA All-Stars trade request.
So the Clippers are going to have Russ, James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard.
Would have been great 4 years ago.
Right? That's it. It's like, let's find the most washed up dudes we can.
Come on. I don't know if Russ is washed, but the other 3 aren't.
Kawhi and Paul George aren't washed. Harden's a little washed.
Harden's
a little washed. Actually, no, I wouldn't even say that. They changed the rules so Harden can't be good anymore.
Correct.
That's what happened, actually.
But he had one playoff series or one playoff game last year where he had like 6-7 threes in a row. He was nuts.
Ben Simmons might have had a good playoff game at some point too. That doesn't mean he's a good player.
Ben Simmons has never had a good playoff game in his life. Not even in high school.
The stats. I bet he had one game where he scored 10 points.
I bet he's had a double-double somewhere.
He might have had a triple-double somewhere.
But I mean, as much as we joke, obviously the Clippers, it seems like they do not want to trade Kawhi or Paul George, and it seems like Philadelphia is entertaining this. So I mean, the fact that as much as we joke that they're a little bit washed, Westbrook, Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard.
This kind of reminds me of the Thunder team not too long ago that had like Chris Paul and Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, but everyone knew Carmelo was washed at that point, though.
I know, but it just reminds me, damn, this team.
He was a great role player up in Portland.
Yeah, but it just reminds me, if this team was 5 years ago, this team would be fucking stacked. But instead, like, come on.
It's good, but like, I don't know. But yeah,
you really had NBA headlines, and you didn't mention the tower out west getting paid for like.
We even discussed it in the group chat.
Oh my lord! I'm so sorry.
You are 40 games and gets $186 million.
That's crazy.
So Anthony Davis, the power forward / center for the Los Angeles Lakers, has signed the biggest extension of all time, 3-year, $186 million max extension, tying him to the franchise through 2028 for a total of $270 million plus. Rich Paul stays robbing NBA teams. That dude is on another level when it comes to negotiation. Rich's annual extension in NBA history at $62 million. And Robbie made the joke, this MF going to make $3.72 million per game played over those 3 years.
It's valid.
Fuck yeah. Also, want to say Rich Paul's company, Clutch Sports, spelled with a K, makes me want to punch that dude in the fucking mouth. Bro, what a douchebag name of a company.
He fleeces NBA teams. It's insane.
Apparently, he just is sleeping with each NBA owner's wife or something. So just blackmail the fuck out of him.
So keep this in mind as we're talking about Anthony Davis. Over the last 3 seasons, Anthony Davis has played a total of 132 games out of a possible 246 games. That puts him at 53% of the games played over the last 3 years. So, Ryan, imagine we show up to work only halfway through Wednesday and then leave. I do still make our full sack. Valid. But yeah, this man getting played to sit on the bench and do nothing. And good for him.
You just ruined one of the names for my next segment, damn it.
What I love is reading the ESPN article that's reporting this contract extension, then goes through the absolute meat writing stats. I mean, just the cherry pick. Say oh man, what a fucking contract extension. Like this one. During the 2023 playoffs, Davis became the third Lakers player with 50 blocks in a single postseason, only behind Kareem and Shaquille O'Neal. And then literally says some elite company. I'm like, get the cock out of your mouth. Did you know dude's going to play 50 games over the next 3 years?
Did you know that Anthony Davis is the only player with more than 50 blocks, more than 30 steals, and more than 50 points on Tuesdays during the month of March? It's fucking crazy. The only other player to do that? Only other player to do that is Bill Russell. So put some fucking respect on his name. How about that?
No, it was the fucking Martians against MJ. I mean, they were absolutely cooking. Jesus Christ.
I love those ESPN stats that are LeBron James is the best player on Wednesdays ever. It's who fucking cares?
It's Connor wrote it, for Christ's sake.
Okay, all right. Unnecessary. But yeah, ESPN stats are kind of wild. So unfortunately, Robbie has ruined one of the names on my next segment, because the next segment, I'm going to play a little game with these gentlemen. It's going to be an over-under game, and it's going to be games played. Anthony Davis was on that list, but
what's his over-under?
I believe it was at 51.
Oh, good. He hasn't played 50 games since he's on the Lakers. Give me the under.
Free money, I guess.
That's a fucking lock.
Here's one that's kind of interesting. So I'll give you the name, and then I'll give you how many games they played the last 3 seasons, and kind of where I think the line's going.
No, don't give us the games. We just have to guess.
Okay, so I'm just gonna give you the. Do you want me to give you the line, or what?
Give us the line. Yeah.
So it's gonna be Nikola Jokic. And I'm going to give you the line is 71 games.
I feel like he hits the over. He seems like he plays a lot.
He's just kind of bulletproof.
Yeah.
It's just
So we both got the over there?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say so.
In the last 3 seasons, last season he played 69 games. The season before that he played 74. And the season before that he played 72 games. So he does indeed play a lot of basketball.
Right around there.
He says, fuck the load management type shit.
It's
as long as they bring his horses over from Serbia so he can have his horses in Denver, he'll probably be all right.
Do you remember who was the guy that he got into an altercation with that his brothers pulled up on? And they were they're all 6. Yeah. The Serbian dudes pulled up on him. I was like, oh no.
Dude, and the Heat were trying to fight them too.
Here's the next name for you. I've got kind of an interesting one. Kawhi Leonard. And I've got him at 54.
Under, because Kawhi is the king of load management. Kawhi Leonard invented the term load management.
I don't think you're wrong there.
That's tough.
Where are you at, Ryan? Over under 54.
That's a good line. I mean, it's just a really, really good line.
Mm.
To be different from Rob, I'm gonna say is games started or games played?
This is games played.
I give him the over.
Okay.
Give him the over.
To let you know, in the last 3 seasons, that he's played. Last season he played 52 games. The one before that he did not play because his ACL was injured. The before that was also 52, and then the one before that was 57. So he's right in the 50 range. But as Robbie said, he did kind of invent this term load management.
They literally made up rules because Kawhi was load managing the shit out of the Spurs. So.
That was so weird. The last year with the Spurs was what the hell is going on? All right, let's sugar plum LeBron James. Here is his line. His line is set at 52.
I feel like if I'm going to say Kawhi is not hitting that number, I kind of don't think LeBron does either.
LeBron's
old, man. LeBron needs that load management. He's gonna have some injuries because I think that's just the point he's at in his career. So.
I'm gonna say under as well. I was actually looking back on his stats. The 2017-2018, his last season in Cleveland, he started and played every single
game. And
which
that was
is
when he was like at his
nuts.
absolute best too. Like that's when he was nuts.
Averaging 37 minutes a game.
It's
That's
crazy.
shooting 54% from the field. I mean, I know I sound like Connor, but like,
God, yeah, I was about to say meat rider much.
Give him all the MVPs.
That's wild, bro.
But in the last, so to give you a reference, in the last 3 seasons, LeBron played 55 games. Apparently he was listed as a power forward last season, which I did not know. He played 55 games last season, 56 the one before that, and then 45 the one before that. Apparently in the last, LeBron James has been listed apparently last season as a power forward, and before that a center, and then before that a point guard. He just played a center.
Well.
When was LeBron ever a center? That's an interesting one.
When AD was on the fucking bench.
Every game. And then the last one that I'm going to give you here is Damian Lillard here. His line is going to be 62.
Does he get traded or not?
Are you asking me, or are you like thinking out loud?
Because in my mind, if he doesn't get traded, under. Because he doesn't want to fucking play for the Trailblazers anymore. He wants to get traded. If he gets traded to the Heat, I think he hits that.
Ryan, what do you think?
It's the same question. I have no idea. Really. That's kind of wild. Before the previous 2 seasons where he kind of checked out, I would have said easy hit.
Yeah, for sure.
But
so
I don't know.
In the last 3 seasons, Damian Lillard has played 58 games last season. He played 29 the season before that, and he played 67 the one before that. I do remember him being injured for that one season that he played 29 in, but he plays relatively consistently.
That's 62 games played?
Yeah.
I'll go over, but it's like super close in my mind.
Yeah. So, I mean, just looking at all that stuff, some of those guys are obviously guys like Anthony Davis kind of struggle just injury-wise, but I mean, testament to Nikola Jokic, who's been the best player in the world for the past 2 years and playing that much.
If you're not a big NBA fan, keep in mind the NBA season is 82 games. So, like, most of these guys are, looking at playing, less than 3/4 of the games.
Yeah.
And, by the way, again, looking back at past stats, Dame drafted in 2012, played and started 3 straight seasons of regular season games. From 2012 to 2015, the man did not miss a start.
Yeah, that's wild.
Which is nuts. That's insane.
Yep.
Heavens.
Absolutely. So we're going to do one more NBA thing. It's another little game here that I think you guys might enjoy a little bit, just to prompt a little bit of discussion. Going into this next year, I'm going to give you guys a team, and then from a grade of A to F, you're going to tell me how you think they're going to perform overall this year. You can compare it to last year. You can do whatever you want to do, but basically just think how they're going to do on a scale of A to F. So here we go with the first team. We're going to go to the Sacramento Kings.
B. I think they're going to be solid again. I think they're going to be middle of the pack in the West.
Uh-huh.
But I would be really surprised to see them finish top 4 in the West again.
Yeah.
That is right where I'm at as well.
All right, we're going to go to the Eastern Conference here. We're going to go to the Boston Celtics.
You have red hair, so you get to say this one first.
True.
This is true. Obviously gained KP, lost Smart. It's going to be a little bit different of a team because they lost their heart and soul. Can Porzingis stay healthy? We obviously know what we're going to get out of Tatum and Brown. Like A-, and I feel like they've been A- for like the last 4 years.
Agreed.
I feel like that's just where they sit.
I would not be surprised to see another season where they start really slow. And everyone's like, oh, they got to blow it up. This team isn't going to get it done. And then they figure it out about 30 games in. I would not be surprised. I feel like that's happened a couple of times. I could see that happening again. I would agree with an A-. That's what I had on my mind as well.
We're going to go to another team out of the Eastern Conference, the New York Knicks.
Oh.
D.
Imagine being a Knicks fan.
You said that already in another podcast.
I think he says that every time we mention the Knicks, Ryan's like, imagine being a Knicks fan.
As a Mavs fan. Yeah.
Robbie, please elaborate on your D gradings there.
Who gets you excited about the Knicks? Like, do you show up to the arena every night and get Julius Randle. Julius Randle, it was just like Zion before Zion existed in terms of being a little bit too big to play the position that he does, but he's also like about 5 times less athletic than Zion.
Damn.
Am I wrong?
No, I mean, you're right. A lot of people think that the Knicks are going to take a pretty massive step back this year, which is a little strange to me, given that I think they're returning most of the same team between Brunson and Randall and those guys. But I don't know.
And no offense to Jalen Brunson, because like I think he's become a very good NBA player. But like when your go-to scorer is Jalen Brunson, like I think there's something wrong. I'm just being honest. I no disrespect to Jalen Brunson. He's a great NBA player, but like
I think D is rather harsh. I don't know if that was a meme or not, but like
a little bit, yeah.
They're like C plus. I mean, I'm not really excited about them. Like Rob said, I don't think they're not winning a championship with this roster. It's just not happening.
I don't think they're getting in the first round with this roster.
I mean, they beat the Cavs, which I was kind of surprised at. Everyone was surprised to see the Cavs even in the playoffs.
Don't forget that Donovan Mitchell was supposed to go to the Knicks. That's really where they thought he was going to get traded.
Yeah. You're right.
And he did not end up in New York. So
I got one, or I got two more that are kind of interesting. Give me a grade for the Golden State Warriors.
B.
I was going to say B minus.
So an 83.
Talk about it.
Right in that range. Chris Paul.
I just don't
hate the guy.
I will say I think him being a sixth man is a better role for him now. I think he'll be a positive contributor to the team. I mean, it's gonna be the Steph Curry show, man. Like you just have to hope that Steph is like on his shit and just like balling out, which he will be. I'm sure he will be. But like,
feels in the best shape of his life. That's scary as hell.
Horrifying. Yeah. But I don't think they have enough talent around their core to get it done.
I appreciate
Draymond gets another year older. Clay loses another step. I mean, Steph is
so bad for Clay.
I did too.
Like if Clay just hadn't blown out his knees, like I think you're looking at a considerably better team. But
yeah, agreed. Because like when he blew out his knees, it wasn't just because it used to be like an elite defender, and it wasn't. But that kind of got taken away. But I think the mechanics of his jump shot changed.
Yeah,
because he's not been as good of a shooter.
He lost his legs in his jump shot too, because that's a big part of being a great shooter is using your legs to get that kind of upward trajectory and get that ball going. And he just lost that too.
This is a take. I don't even think it's necessarily hot. I think the Warriors might have another championship if Clay doesn't blow out his knee.
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree. 100%.
Like he's such an integral part to that team. Like at times bigger than Steph, honestly. Yeah. Like he just can do everything on both ends of the court when he was in his prime.
Yep. It's crazy that we're talking about this team that literally won the NBA championship 2 years ago. It's basically the same team that just won it like the year before. And
but to Ryan's point, I mean, Klay Thompson is 6'7" and was an elite defender, like probably top 5 defenders in the NBA at one point. But he could guard most positions, probably 1 through 4, probably not the center position, but that's probably the only one. But yeah, once he blew at his knee, he just lost that ability. He's just not as quick anymore. It just sucks. But yeah. I agree with you, Ryan. I think they'd have another one. Here's the last one. Obviously, a little bit of hometown influence here. Tell me about the Dallas Mavericks.
You're not going to throw my hometown team in there? It's kind of fucking disrespectful, but all right.
Yeah, but I don't like you.
Brandon Miller, baby. Oh, yeah.
Whoa. Hey, he started playing better. He started. Anyways, B+.
Okay, that's better than last season.
Because I just don't see how they do what they did last season.
I
agree. There's no reason for that. But like I'm thinking about like the 3 teams in the West that we've talked about, right? We talked about the Kings, the Warriors, and the Mavs, and I would rank them in the order Mavs, Kings, Warriors.
Oh, okay.
Which is so fucking disrespectful to the Warriors. I'm probably gonna get burned for that. But like just in terms of the talent on the team, that's how I would rank them.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of them are still good enough to win a championship, which is why they're still in that B tier.
I agree.
Agreed. Yeah. I agree with everything you said. I will believe it when I see it. We have a generational player in Luka. I mean, obviously, Kyrie is the biggest signing, free agent, or whatever, the biggest signing that the Mavs have gotten since
Rajon Rondo.
Okay, dude. You know what? Come on now.
So let's say the Mavs get to the trade deadline. And let's say they're sitting at like a 4 or 5 seed in the West, right? They're in the playoff hunt. They're looking good, where they need that one last piece
Mm.
to get them to be a championship contender. Who do they trade for? What do they need?
Capella?
You need rim protection. You need like Tyson Chandler-esque.
As much as we joked about Clint Capella last week, that would be a good pickup for the Mavs. Like Clint Capella
DeAndre
would be a
Jordan
very
is
good
now available, and I know Mark Cuban really wanted
So
him like
old.
10 years ago. So,
so washed. But like as much as we joked about it last week because it was like the only NBA headline, Clint Capella would legitimately be a good signing for the Dallas Mavericks. Not that he's like what he was in his Houston days, but he's still a good, solid paint rim protector and good rebounder.
maybe,
and that's what the
like
Mavs need is
another, maybe
defense.
like another 3-and-D too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. After losing Dorian, yep.
Yeah.
And Reggie, God. So we're gonna move on from the NBA there. Thank you.
Can I
Thank you,
give the
Kevin.
Charlotte Hornets a grade before we move on?
Yes.
F. All right, continue.
Also, the Atlanta Hawks are reportedly the strongest suitor for Pascal Siakam, offering a package that includes DeAndre Hunter,
Okay.
AJ Griffin, and picks.
Yeah. Okay. Like 3
I
first
love
rounders.
yo picks. Yo, picks is going to be good in a couple years. I think that's a bad trade for the Hawks.
Reported by Shams, and they're like, "Damn, that shit better be a fuck ton of picks."
That's kind of a nasty little core there. Like if Trae Young can figure his shit out, he got him, DeJounte Murray, and Pascal Siakam. Like
as you said though, if Trae Young can figure it out, because last year was not good.
Yeah.
My hairline keeps getting worse too.
Damn.
It's kind of like you.
We can't talk, bro.
Damn.
But moving on from the NBA, we're going to throw it down to Robbie, our Women's World Cup expert, analyst, professor.
I appreciate that I'm the expert, and I'm going to be just completely transparent here. I've not watched a single game of the
what
Women's
the
World
hell?
Cup. Dude, they're all
What the
3
hell,
in the
Robbie?
morning.
Are you sexist?
They're all
Are you
3 in the
sexist?
morning. No, I would watch it if it wasn't at fucking 3 in the morning, man. I'm not staying up to watch any soccer at 3 in the morning. I'm sorry. But yeah, let me give you a little update here.
Obviously, the U.S. women's team is no longer in contention.
Yeah, lost to Sweden by about a millimeter on penalties. I mean,
true.
Really had no reason to lose that penalty shootout. They were in control and just fell apart. But we are into the quarterfinals now. I'm going to read you some of the quarterfinal matchups here. We have Spain and the Netherlands. The Netherlands did win the group over the United States. They've looked really good. They beat South Africa 2-0. So really solid team there. We got Japan and Sweden, which I think running into Japan in the next round probably would have been the end of the United States anyways with the way they're playing. That's going to be a really, really good game. We have England and Colombia, and just absolute heartbreak for Nigeria against England. Lost 4-2 in penalties. Would have been another like African Cinderella story in the World Cup that we haven't gotten to see a lot of, so that's a little bit disappointing. One of the host countries, Australia, moving on to the quarterfinals. They're going to play France, who destroyed Morocco. So that's your very, very quick Women's World Cup update. I don't have a lot of insight outside of that. I'm going to be completely honest, but
that is okay.
Sad to see the U.S. team bow out so early, but they know they can't win everyone. They're all in the last 2. You can't win every World Cup.
It didn't look like they cared. Like in terms of like some of the highlights,
it's kind of like a changing of the guard, right? I think a lot of the team that has been the core has started to age out some. Obviously, you still see like Alex Morgan, Rapinoe are still out there, but
Rapinoe just retired.
But no, she's still playing.
Oh, I thought she retired.
No, she absolutely botched a PK.
That's right.
Yeah. But I think the older generation is phasing out, and I don't think the younger generation quite has it put together yet. So
yeah,
be interested to see what the women's team does moving forward.
I would have to agree with that.
That's just a great take.
We are going to move into our last segment. It is a draft.
Real quick. We didn't. I know we weren't going to do our hot takes and stuff.
I have one good one too.
But I have one.
Okay, perfect.
This comes from an actual current NFL receiver, and he was asked.
I guess who it is.
Yes.
No, I want you to say the quote, and I'm going to guess who it is.
Oh, it's not a quote. He was asked to rank his top 5 NFL receivers of all time.
Okay, give me the list.
Are you ready?
Oh, God.
Yep.
Number 1, Megatron, Calvin Johnson.
Agree. Solid pick.
Number 2, Randy Moss.
Yeah.
Little 3, Jerry Rice. A little shocking seeing him at 3.
Sure. But he's
at least he's on the list. Yeah, he needs to be on the list.
Number 4, Julio Jones, which I actually really like that pick. I think a lot of people, old heads, like sleep on
this guy
Julio.
loves some just tall ass big wide receivers.
The
Like
big
he's
dude.
just that.
Mike Evans. Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike Evans is a 5. We know.
Number 5. Michael Crabtree.
Dude, don't sleep on Crabtree though. Wasn't he huge too?
Did Michael Crabtree make this list? You said current NFL wide receivers or no?
Yeah.
Was it Mike Evans?
It was George Pickens.
That goes hard.
That goes hard. I respect the hell out of that.
Oh, he wasn't that tall. I thought Crabtree was tall. He was 6'1".
Because all the memes after that were just so funny. It's like, the fuck Crabtree doing on this list?
You gotta think Pickens is like our generation, our age, right? It's like he saw that Michael Crabtree. Give me a second. Michael Crabtree Texas game where he just like dominated that game and won in Lubbock. So he's a little biased, and I can respect that.
Would you like to hear some of Michael Crabtree's career stats?
In the NFL, no. I don't want to ruin his legacy that is in my mind with him being a great wide receiver.
Yeah. Fair enough. He played for 4 teams.
So I have a hot take directly from our YouTube comments section.
One of our fans.
Shout out Brian Saint Martin 7134. Thanks for interacting with our post. You're gonna make it on the podcast this week. This is a wild take. Y'all gonna have to buckle in. This is a whole paragraph, and it really jumps to some places I wasn't expecting. Pro sports isn't sports. Like WWE and such, it is entertainment. It was changed during JFK's term. It is an entertainment franchise. They split the proceeds. The fans take a beating, develop animosity among each other, and help further divide the public as a whole because we can't be beaten if we stand together.
What?
This is directly from our YouTube comment section. The
JFK callback was that's threw me for a loop.
That's like JFK's in our comment. What is happening? Like, I think what he's pointing out is during JFK's term is when they during presidency is when they made pro sports identify themselves as entertainment. I don't really know what they were before that because they're clearly entertainment. But it was just pretty wild, right? And I get what he's saying. Like, we're taking this a step too far. Like,
I understand.
Of course, it's fucking entertainment. Yeah, it's on the television and you watch it to make your day go by faster. Like, it's not really saying anything important here, but I did like that they're using it to divide us. And that's the problem with this country's pro sports, guys. Keep that in mind.
I guess, man.
If it wasn't for pro sports, we'd all stand in a circle holding hands and singing kumbayas all the time. But here we are hating each other all the time.
Well, gotta love it. I found one for you gentlemen right here because you guys brought something to the table. I'll bring one. This guy says Sean Payton will quit after 1 season in Denver.
Is Russ cooking?
No.
Then yeah, then I'm on board.
That guy might have an inkling of what he's talking about. I'd buy it.
All right, here's a timeline for you.
Oh, okay.
Broncos start off the season really bad. Russ is
not cooking.
Russ is burning the lasagna. And Sean Payton goes out and recruits a quarterback who recently retired, who happens to be the greatest quarterback of all time to ever step foot on a football field. And he brings Tom Brady.
Tony Romo. Oh.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, you're right.
Sorry.
And he brings Tom Brady to the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
This has never happened. I'm just thinking
okay.
This is like where Peyton Manning ended his career. Tom Brady's like, well, fuck, I can't have Peyton going to the Broncos and winning a Super Bowl when I didn't do it. Like, I can't have that. Fucking bullshit.
I took it personally.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. That's my my timeline that could happen.
Yeah. So it makes sense. The Broncos are probably like 1-4, maybe 2-3, and then they go into their Week 6 Thursday night football matchup. And who walks out to face Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs? Tom fucking Brady.
That would be nuts.
Roger Goodell is at home right now, just jizzing everywhere. He's just everywhere.
We should be the new script writers for the NFL.
Yeah, we should actually.
We're like, they'll never buy it. Wait,
it's Tom. And then one more right here, which I think is just kind of funny. Stetson Bennett will win Rookie of the Year.
Okay, Georgia fan. Where's the location on that one? Athens, Georgia.
All right,
That's in
Kirby.
Bennett's hotel room. Like, come on.
That's Kirby smart.
It's fucking cool.
One of his burner accounts. Somehow Kevin Durant has another burner account. It's crazy.
Who knew Stetson? Who knew KD was a Stetson Bennett fanboy? That's crazy.
KD bought Twitter Blue for all 8 of his burners.
No, but this guy's a Packers fan. Interestingly enough, so
no, he's not.
Yes,
he's just not.
That is bait.
So moving on past that segment, we're going to get into our last segment of the day. It's going to be a draft. Robbie proposed this idea. We're going to do a mobile games draft, meaning games that you play on your phone. Obviously, throughout the years, there have been quite a number of fun and popular games at some point. So I'm going to ask you, Robbie, are we going to do 3 picks deep? Or are we going to do 5 picks deep? What did you want to do here?
I'll leave that up to you guys. Do we think we can go 5 deep?
Probably.
I kind of thought so as well.
All right. If you think you can, then I will try to extend my list. Who would like to, or Robbie, would you like to spin a wheel?
I just did. It'll go myself, then Connor, and then Ryan. I love having the first pick here. I'm going to go to the most classic like smartphone mobile game of all time. I think it's still fairly popular, probably not as much as it once was. But we're going to start this draft out with Clash of Clans.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
I think when you think of mobile games, like that's the one that comes to mind.
Yeah. Absolutely. I like that pick. I appreciate that pick. And to pay homage to that pick, if you will, something that's a little casual on the casual side of Clash of Clans, we're going to go to Clash Royale.
They can't go 2. That just can't go 2.
I would agree with that.
That's way too early. That's a sell. And then with my first pick, I'm going Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that was the next one I would have picked as well.
That is in fact the pick.
Clash Royale has had more longevity than Pokemon Go has.
Not really.
Yes, really. Who do you see on a day-to-day basis playing Pokemon Go anymore?
Literally every fucking day, dude. Literally every day. Like, that's not
you do?
Me? Yes.
Yeah, but you're a nerd.
And because it's actually like a really good mobile game, a really good version of this, and so many kids have this, I think this is just really big. I'm going to go with Minecraft.
That's a good pick. I think it inherently loses some of it playing on mobile. Like I know like you could play it and stuff. It's not quite the same as playing it, otherwise how you normally play Minecraft, but I think that's a good pick.
Oh no. For my you guys don't know about this pick. You don't know nothing about this pick. This is a game that I discovered a few years ago that I introduced a couple of my college roommates to, who became obsessed with this mobile game because you don't have to have internet to play it, which is a big factor in this game. It's a little game called Retro Bowl. It's a football game on your iPhone, and you literally play. It's like not Madden, but it's like good. It's like little arcade football characters, and you're playing like a football. It's so you don't know about Retro Bowl. You don't know about Retro Bowl. No,
actively.
You don't know about Retro Bowl. You don't know about Retro Bowl.
With my next pick, I'm gonna take another just classic mobile game. You can also play it at Topgolf now, and it's probably my favorite game to play at Topgolf these days. That's gonna be Angry Birds. Angry Birds went unreasonably hard back in the day. I might re-download it now just to play some. But I'm going to go with Angry Birds. And my next one, I'm between 2. I think I'm going to take... Got to decide here. I think I'm going to take one that I love playing, back when I first got an iPhone. It's a really, classic game. It's super simple, not super difficult. But, I mean, it's a classic. That's going to be Temple Run.
That's great. That's a great pick.
One. Yeah, that's a good one. Let it be known that Retro Bowl has more reviews and higher reviews than Minecraft does, so suck my nads.
Don't care and didn't ask. Keep throwing. Go ahead.
So the third pick on my... I have a few classics on my list. I'm going to go to one that's just kind of mindless. One that I see frequently on TikTok when we overlay gameplay and like podcasts. I'm going to go to Subway Surfers. It's a great game.
Subway Surfers unreasonably fun.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Ryan, what do you got here?
I think one that's just been slept on a little too long. Slept on is not the right word. Technology has just moved past it. It was a game that was at its peak. So many different people played it, and that's going to be Doodle Jump.
Yeah, I had it on my list.
That's a great pick. It's a good value retro pick there in the third round. I love that.
Doodle Jump was more like the beginning iPhone days. Like it was probably the biggest game like iPhone 5 and before.
I remember having it on like my iPod Touch. Like that was like the game to play on my iPod Touch. That and probably Temple Run were probably the two.
Yep. So I couldn't let Doodle Jump fall past the third round. Now this next one, I'm a little bit on the fence with. I have like a personal favorite.
I'm moving towards personal favorites now as well.
Personal favorite for me would have to be like the Words with Friends games. I really enjoyed like all the Scrabble and some of the other stuff that spun off from it. I think Words with Friends is actually like uses your brain. Scrabble's a great game, so it's just mobile version of that.
Great pick.
I'm between one Juggernaut and one that is also kind of a sentimental pick. And I think a lot of people thought it was kind of a cool mobile game. I'm going to go to that one. One that might spark a little bit of memory in you. I'm going to go to Jetpack Joyride.
Damn it. That was literally going to be my next pick.
Yeah, that was great.
Literally going to be my next pick. Yes. That's such a good game. Oh,
it is fun. Jetpack Joyride was a lot of fun.
Redemption in the fourth round for Connor.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
My last one.
There's one. Yeah, I think we're thinking the same Juggernaut here, Connor. One that's super popular, especially among moms.
Moms,
there it is.
I'm not going to pick it. It's never been my cup of tea. It's not something I played a lot. With my next pick, I'm going to go to a more recent title. It's similar in vein to Ryan's Minecraft pick. You can obviously play it on different consoles. This is actually a game that does translate rather well to the mobile gaming scene. It's going to be Among Us.
Among Us, yes.
Among Us. It's a great game. If you're all sitting around with your friends, you can throw that up on your phone. You can all play together on your phones. Just a good collaborative game there. And with my last pick, actually, I wish I had taken a different one. Anyways, I'm going to go to a game that Ryan and I played a lot in college, especially when we were supposed to be studying or, just doing any type of homework or anything. That's going to be Adventure Run.
Yeah.
Any of the three, just great games. There's another game I wish I would have taken now, thinking back.
Fun Run?
That's what I meant, sorry. My apologies.
Fun Run. That was wild. Among Us, man. I don't know if there's ever been a mobile game that had the meteoric rise and fall that Among Us had, like a couple months span.
For sure.
It was wild.
Yeah. So yes, Fun Run. Thank you for clarifying.
I was like Adventure Run. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You know what I was getting at. You've been many times in Rogers sitting there playing that rather than
someone would just across the table just hold it up, be like, all right, well, 30 minutes later.
With my fifth pick, I have two that I'm going to mention right here that are honorable mentions just because I didn't play them a lot, but I had a lot of friends that played them a lot. One of them is Balloons Tower Defense. That's an honorable mention. No, I didn't take it.
That's mine, damn it!
What are you giving your honorable mentions when there's still one pick to go, forehead? What is this?
You just got a reaction out of me because I thought you took it. False start. You lose your pick.
Clickbait.
What the hell?
Yeah, Connor. Hold on, let me talk to the commissioner real quick and see about your pick.
What do we got?
Yep. The commissioner's office has its ruling. Connor loses his fifth round pick. He doesn't make a pick, and he does not get to mention his last honorable mention either.
Harsh but fair. I mean, it's just
listen. The commissioner doesn't play around with jumping the gun on honorable mentions when people.
I'm starting my own league. Well,
you're already throwing in this one, so you might as well make your own league and make the rules so you can actually.
I'm going to kiss you. I'm going to kiss you on the lips.
Ryan, go ahead with your last pick, my good friend. Even though I know we already know what it is, but go and lob that in there for us.
I think it actually might be the only paid game that we mentioned. No, Minecraft is paid. Never mind. Yeah, never mind. Balloon Tower Defense 5 and 6, absolutely elite games in high school and in college when they came out with the new version. Mindless fun, just a great game.
Connor doesn't get mentioned any honorable mentions, so I'm going to mention one. Another game that we played a lot in college, Golf Clash.
Golf Clash. I remember
Golf Clash is a great game.
Favorite game to send to an ex would be 8-Ball Pool.
Yeah, well, we didn't do any Game Pigeon games. That's tough.
Yeah.
My,
obviously the one that you don't get to talk. You're on suspension. But I know obviously the one that we hinted at that we never took would be Candy Crush Saga. I don't think any of us are big Candy Crush guys.
No, can't do it.
Just never really did it for me. But yeah, I think that was a great draft. Connor, I can't believe Connor's suspended right now. It's crazy. Oh, another miss, maybe
Can I
Fruit
appeal?
Ninja.
Oh,
Ninja?
yeah, it's a miss.
That's a miss.
That's a miss, probably.
Nice miss, Connor.
I'm an idiot.
Fuck my Nats.
There's a great like Mario Kart on the phone is actually pretty fun as well. There's
good.
Mario Kart Tour. But I think Fruit Ninja is probably the biggest miss in terms of the nostalgia factor.
Agreed.
Of these games.
Do you guys remember the paper ball into the wastebasket game?
Yes.
What the fuck was that called? I was trying to remember that.
Weren't there like multiple things you could do on that? That like wasn't the only thing that you could like.
You could throw
play
other
on that.
objects that like didn't move as much in the wind.
But that was the same era of Doodle Jump. I mean, it was like infant iPhone type shit.
Did you guys ever play Flick Home Run?
Yes.
No,
that's another. It was like this like pitching thing, and you had to hit a home run, and like there'd be different. Balls.
Yes,
like a fastball or a sinker. It's another good one.
Holy crap! I mean, like
trivia crack. Trivia crack didn't make the list for us.
Wow,
those are probably my biggest misses there.
My friends
Some
love
great
Brawl
mobile
Stars.
games out there.
I don't know. Do y'all ever play like Plague?
Pandemic? Or it's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Pandemic game. Yeah, those games are fun.
Yeah, those were fun. I think Plague was a little more simplified, and that was a little easier. But yeah, that's a great draft. Sorry, I sold. I'm suspended now from a draft. I might have to forfeit my next first round pick.
No, Commissioner said just this pick. You're okay. You're back for the next one. Yep.
Yeah. Can I appeal
there's gonna be a fine. The fine's going to be $100 to each to me and Ryan. So keep that
heavens. Can I appeal?
Sure. Go. Do you want to submit your appeal now?
No, I'll write it up. I'll send it to you later.
Sorry, it's denied. Anyways, we appreciate you listening to another great episode of the Bros and the Berg podcast. Please go like, subscribe, follow on all social media. We're out there. Connor, even though he's throwing in drafts, is being very active in terms of posting and getting shorts together. We do appreciate that. So please go give us a like, follow, subscribe on YouTube. We're pushing to 100 subs on YouTube. We're getting close. We'll definitely do something special for that when we do reach that mark.
Sure, nuts.
Dude, come on, man. Come on, dude.
That's only for the Patreon.
And for myself, Ryan, and Connor, we appreciate you listening, and please gamble responsibly.
Bye.